James Barnes,
Sarah Rocha Barnes
and we are in the barn.
with the Barneses.
And we're sitting here in the backyard. It's one of our favorite places. There's a little playground, I guess you call it. We moved into this house like a few years ago, and every year we get to make it different and new, and we enjoy it. So right now, what's going on is we're in the backyard. Just finished doing some planting. The plants are growing. The birds are singing. I know, right? And there's somebody in a neighbor having a big old birthday party, throwing down. So it's kind of cool. But beyond that, we wanted to talk into faithfulness today.
Yes.
And so, on that note, I step back. I'm going to let you pick it up from there, and I'm going to jump in on this topic because I have all kinds of things to say. So I'll just let you kind of lead, and I'll jump in.
Okay, well, faithfulness was the word that came to me today. We were talking about what's going on in my week in front of us, and
Yes.
STAR testing for me is in front of us, and there's a lot of pressure for the kids to perform and for the kids to be faithful to themselves, and even for teachers to be faithful to themselves, and not just to themselves, to the children, to do their job the way that they're supposed to, support the kids so they can be successful. And some teachers check out, some do other things. We all have lives, and so faithfulness is the word that speaks to me today. So
What does that mean? What is faithfulness? It's a tough one for a lot of folks to kind of get a hold on to. I think of myself trying to walk into the word faithfulness, and faithfulness is what? Is a fruit
of the Spirit.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's something that I think it's important to grasp.
Absolutely. It is important to grasp, and with that, it kind of just it takes you to where how hard it can be to be faithful sometimes, because there's challenges put in front of you, and when those challenges create obstacles, sometimes it's hard to be faithful. I think of even my own son. He has his EOC, which is end of course. And it's similar to STAR, but he had just at the end of his course. And he has to be faithful to himself. He has to make sure that he's doing his work, that in class he's doing his best. And I see that same reflection in my kids and my students.
Mm-hmm.
That they have to be faithful for themselves, and a lot of my kids don't know faithfulness. So
faithfulness is a fruit, is strength. It's a good thing. It's power. It's like if you understand what it is, it's like a foundation.
Mm-hmm. So teaching them to be faithful to themselves is a lesson that's encompassed with the content that I'm supposed to be teaching, so they can be successful in testing.
Right. It's a fruit. It's the first fruits, right? If you have the little things, you have to be able to be faithful in learning the content.
Yeah, and I have to be faithful to make sure that I'm not playing loosey-goosey, teaching and, having a good time. No, we've got things to do. We have to stay on task. So I have to be faithful to my lesson plans as a teacher.
Right.
Because that's what drives the success. If you don't have a plan or a vision in front of you, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You can't, successfully think of things on a whim, and maybe it worked for a day or two, but long term, you have to have a plan and to be faithful to your plans so that your kids can be successful. And, that's being successful, faithful to your kids, your students. And so I see faithfulness a lot in my challenges to remain faithful. Because not every kid feels like learning. Not every kid takes the STAR seriously. And so to instill that faithfulness and how important it is.
Yeah, but sometimes faithfulness is not about also just, what these people, just giving people the opportunity. Your faithfulness is just casting the net for the kid to have those opportunities.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And even if nobody shows up, faithfulness, still you cast the net anyway.
Yeah,
and you
I
cast
stayed
the net
faithful
anyway.
despite those challenges.
Yes. No challenge for them. And I think about like our church, like even me coming into learning the word faithfulness as a man that was not always in the Word of God, and learning, what the fruits are, and desiring the fruits, and believing in what the fruits are, and saying, faithfulness, what is that? And what does it mean to me? And I wasn't necessarily fully fulfilled in my church early on, but no man is. There's a lot of content and things I had to learn and deal with, and so the only way to get through that is faithfulness. So the things that I did not like, the challenges, I refused to leave, and that's called faithfulness.
Yeah.
And now, through that battle, I found home in a happy place. And
Yes.
like I'm not leaving the church. The church has got to kick me out. That's faithfulness. So in other words, I'm a solid foundation person for my church. If whatever, what I mean. We're there, and we'll figure it out as a family.
Yeah, and even another role, being faithful as like a mother, being faithful to your children to make sure you're there for them, ups and downs, whatever. You are faithful to them as a wife.
Right.
Being faithful, and not only like in faithful as in in cheating. Not that's important, but that's not an issue. Being just a faithful wife in all things that I can be trusted.
Yeah, what are our roles and being honoring each other and
trust,
respecting each other. And
trust comes with faithful, because if you're not faithful in the little things that you do, you're gonna have no trust. And that's a saying actually that I tell my students. If I have to step out to call a parent or go to the restroom or something, I have to trust. And I tell them, if I can't trust you with the small things, I can't trust you with the big things.
Right.
And so, it's little things like that.
Okay, well, I spoke to church, but I could also speak to husbandry. Faithfulness in husbandry is wonderful, because as a man, forget about, what it does in honoring the woman, but what it does for me as a man, my faithfulness frees me up not to really be concerned about things that
it's freeing.
Yeah, so
Being faithful is freeing.
It is freeing, because in faithfulness I'm not like carrying any weight at all, and so there's no burden on me. And hey, my doggies are having a good time over. That's backyard talking for you. But then, there's no weight on my shoulders, and and it frees me up. If there was something to be concerned about with my wife, I think I would know, because I'm not like dwelling in that space. So it's like, I'm completely free. I would know what's up, so I don't need to worry. I don't need to carry any burden. My wife is gorgeous. I love her. She's amazing. I am free because of faithfulness.
Yeah, and I would say even in your job, in your like line of work, you have to be very faithful, especially you're working with candidates. You're faithful to the candidate, whatever happens, whatever goes, whatever comes up.
Right.
You are.
We got to move together. I think moving together is very important for me. I think sticking to a plan. It's like I'm not always like, let's put it this way. We always want to like think we need to go 100% together, but in agreement. But you know what? Like, if you're like, I have to move in your direction sometimes, even if I don't agree. And sometimes you move my direction. So it's like, it's not, I see in the political world, sometimes people think you have to be in agreement. And I'm like, no, that's not how it works, bro. we gotta move together, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Faithfulness is what keeps us bound together.
Yeah. And and with the fruits of the spirit, they almost like intertwine like webs, because you have faithfulness. And then to be faithful, you have to exercise self-control.
Right.
All actions in love.
Right.
And so that it's beautiful that it's intertwined, but faithfulness was the word for today. And go ahead. What were you?
Well, I was gonna say, I went on a journey. Can I tell you about my journey in faithfulness?
Sure.
Right. Weird. Right. I went on a journey in faithfulness, but no, true story. I'm a writer downer of things, and so in my faith journey, I went years ago. I say years ago now. It's been long enough to say years ago. I would write each one of the fruits on the mirror. And I would leave one fruit of the Spirit up on the mirror, and I would just pray into it and talk into it and internalize what it was and what it meant. And a lot of it, because I didn't really truly understand it all. So, faithfulness is a great one that I grasped, because it really did revolutionize my life. Like, it's great, and it's a fruit that, I don't know. Sometimes he's like, you measure given. So when you give faithfulness to people, it's almost like you see that return to you.
Absolutely.
In the spirit, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I would totally agree to that.
So
Yeah.
makes it easy. Because like who?
Well, because your faithfulness bears fruit.
Yeah.
Right? It's like
Right there, if you keep as a man, like if you keep on blowing faithfulness, right? Like what do you expect to get out of this thing?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's weird. You know what I mean?
Yes. And I wanted to talk about how faithful you've been to your gardening.
Oh wow! Tell me about it. I didn't know this is.
You know,
I didn't know this is a part of the topics.
Yes.
I love my. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So with his gardening, he has planted corn over here to my left, your right, probably.
Yeah. Right. Corn. Yeah.
And you know, he's been very faithful in caring for his plants. He's got radishes, zucchini, cucumbers, tomatoes, trying to grow strawberries, watermelons, melons, all kinds of stuff.
You know,
And he's been very faithful to those plants. And again, that's something, you know, when you're faithful to the small things. And he's been tending his plants, so good job. And they're thriving.
They are.
And
Everything's
so
thriving.
he's been very faithful to his plants, and I'm eager to see the fruit.
All right, and I'm a weirdo. I'm a weirdo because I'm not doing it. I'm doing it more for sport. I mean, it's like some people fish, some people take their own cars. You know, like to play in the garden. So like I like to see what a seed bears and how to. So I struggle sometimes to get certain things going. I've never been able to grow certain beans. And
yeah, he's never.
It's got to be me.
And you don't buy. We don't buy already.
Yeah.
Like seedlings.
Yeah,
everything is from seed.
My goal is to grow from seed to flower to seed, and then collect those seeds, and then no longer ever have to kind of get seeds.
Buy seeds again.
I'll be pulling my own seeds.
We are successful with that with the zinnias.
Yeah, right. My nose is itchy, by the
zinnias
way. Excuse me. Allergies have a really bad backyard talking. You know what I mean?
Yes. But zinnias,
Yeah.
Once you have one pack, you never have to buy any again. You just take the heads, let them dry. Following year, spring, just crumple them up into the dirt.
Right.
And it's just kind of move it around in dirt, and you're good. And you'll have beautiful zinnias that attract hummingbirds.
That's another good one. Faithfulness is also in the backyard, because everybody wants a beautiful backyard. And I will tell you, if you just walk into our backyard, which you can't really see right here, is a very beautiful backyard. And we don't even have the colors out yet. It's too early for the flowers to be popping. You know, in about a month or two, we'll have colors galore. But even with that, our backyard is gorgeous. But when we first walked in this backyard, it had it was a bare bones, just grass, weeds, you know, everywhere, and this faithfully we've turned it into just an amazing oasis. Toiled in faithfulness.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, like, I feel like this year, for instance, is the first year that we got done like
earlier.
Yeah.
Because we had a temperate winter.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, in February, we always expect it so cold, and it wasn't cold at all.
No.
So, because we had a temperate winter, we were able to get an early start into the garden, and it's truly paid off.
Yeah. And it's faithfulness, once again, it's faithfulness that gets you the garden, because we have certain things we do, and it's joyful.
Well, let me tell you.
Right? Tell me.
Every winter, or end of winter, I come out here, and I'm just like, there's so many weeds, and we have to do this and we have to do that, and I don't look forward to it, but I remain faithful. And with faithfulness, you know, I persevere. It's one of my favorite words.
Right.
You know, I persevere and I get over myself.
Yeah.
And you know, we work the land, and it's beautiful to see the fruit of our faithfulness.
Right.
It
So
truly is.
right, because you pick the weeds, I'm able to focus in on building and growing
the weeds are my nemesis.
flowers and stuff. And I've actually built a garden box wall where I'm growing things up it. I'm trying to do a vertical kind of ordeal going on here. So I'm gonna have fun with that this year. Yeah.
So
Woo! We get wild and crazy, you know, with flowers and such and so forth. But let's go back to the word faithfulness. Let's think of what did you have anything else to add to it? Before I kind of like...
No, you can jump in.
No, please, go lead us the way. Because I was going to close this out whenever you had kind of expired.
I think I'm good. My word was just like really be faithfulness despite challenges, because when you remain faithful, those challenges and, you know, obstacles really are nothing. They just kind of melt away because you persevere and you go headstrong, of course, with the Lord by your side, right? I saw something the other day, and I'm pretty sure it's a Bible verse, but it was like it said something like, or maybe it was a comment. I don't know what it was, but I read it, and it said, you know, when it says in the Bible, all things are, you know, with God are possible. It was like a reminder to say, you know what, it doesn't say, you know, with God all things are easy. done. It's
Yeah.
possible.
Possible.
You know, it doesn't make things easy. And I'm okay with that, because in faithfulness, I know things are not easy. One, I'm faithful to the Lord, and I know His
Right,
word.
yeah, right.
So I know what it says. I mean, you know, you read it, you internalize it, you know it, you live it. So I understand to be faithful is great. There's great outcomes that come from
Right.
faithfulness.
Right. You know what's cool about faithfulness too is once you kind of get the hang of what you're doing in the Word and understanding faithfulness and the power of faithfulness and the need for faithfulness, it's just kind of fun to just be in faithfulness and watch other brothers come into it like that have never been there before in the Word and
Yeah.
start to receive it. And so it's kind of builds on that. So we see a lot of brothers that I see a lot of brothers that, man, are becoming so faithful for the Lord that never had that in them. We had a brother right now that's actually, I see him, he's, military, ex-military actually, but I'm watching him grow in our service, and, I'm just excited to see where he goes. I can't wait to see how the power of the Lord works in him and his family.
Yeah.
And then there's no reason why besides I see it.
Joy.
Yeah, I see it, and I know the Lord is in him. So it's like, wow, let's watch where he goes. And then I have other brothers who will, in fact, we're going to have a talk with Lonnie next week, but such growth in just his, who he is. His spirit is cleansed in so many ways. He's got a big reveal. We'll come to that. Right? It's not,
Dun,
exciting
dun,
stuff.
dun.
Dun, dun,
Right, so
dun.
you need to remain faithful so you can see James's next episode.
Right, and we're gonna do these. See, we're so faithful. We're gonna do these if anybody watches or they don't. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But I hope you do watch, because we do speak. Our point is to speak into the Word of God and to share our joy for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, and then
Absolutely.
read it, and through faithfulness, you will know the Word, and the Word is true. It is real, and it will be it'll revolutionize your life.
Absolutely.
And so, I guess, do you want to close or want me to close?
You can close that.
So I'll close. So I always, I'm James Barnes,
Sarah Rocha Barnes
and we are in the barn
with the Barnes.
with the Barneses. Ta-da! That's good. That's fun, baby. That's a good conversation. I like the word too. So we stuck to the word faithfulness. I so much,